listeners and people watching, because last week I was so down in the dumps about the whole Sandro Tonali debacle, and now a week later I thought I wasn't going to have to talk about transfers, but I'm back here because Bruno Guimaraes, who is the leading light at Newcastle United, he is the one that the fans adore, the one that he's the boyhood hero of just about every young Geordie walking around the streets of Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes. And in this latest news now that all of a sudden Arsenal have come in, they're exploring the conditions of a deal for Bruno. No official club-to-club contact is what we're told, but it's thought that there was an informal proposal which has been rejected out of hand by intermediaries, and there's certain reports in various places that bid was under £60 million for a player that's got 3 assists in the World Cup already, and like I say, is the linchpin of Newcastle United, both on and off the field. He's the club captain. We're told Newcastle's position is unchanged. They do not want to sell the 28-year-old. They will not welcome any bids. He's under contract until 2028, and that he's one of a number of players that Arsenal are looking at here, with an expectation, as we've talked about, there will be arrivals and departures at Arsenal, of course, this summer. What are your thoughts on this, mate? I mean, there was a suggestion in the Telegraph. Luke Edwards said that actually Bruno, he expected he'll be offered a bumper new contract at Newcastle. I mean, sometimes these things come to fruition. But can you see a world where Newcastle let Tonali and Bruno both leave? And how damaging would it be for Newcastle if Bruno does go?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's your best player. So losing your best player would obviously hurt a lot. Losing both of your best midfielders would be awful, particularly off the back of Anthony Gordon. And I feel for you, mate, because you're also watching the one that got away, Elliot Anderson, moving for a £116 million fee. So it's a tough moment for Newcastle and former Newcastle midfielders from the fan perspective. But look, you know as well as I do, and everyone else should too, how good Bruno Guimaraes is. So it can be no surprise that a club like Arsenal, who are clearly looking to level up in midfield, having also asked the question about Tonali and now exploring those conditions for Guimarães too, it can't be a surprise that they're looking at this. The thing is, with these situations here, like with Tonali, if Tonali goes, he'll go for a huge fee, right? If we're already talking about 75-80 million not being good enough, then whatever the fee ends up being, I think that Newcastle will come out the better end of that because they would have made so much money on the deal. My concern is that you can't win in the Bruno Guimaraes deal, partially because he's going to turn 29 later this year. So any interested party isn't going to want to put up those kind of 85, 90, 100 million numbers for a player who is going to turn 29. They'd be much more comfortable if he was 3 years younger. So that means that Newcastle then have a really difficult situation because there's just no way that they're going to get what I think is fair market value for a player that good. And then they're going to have that conversation, and they're going to have to try and convince Bruno that he's got to stay. I don't think you can afford to lose this player. I think you can afford to lose Gordon, Tonali. I don't think it's the same situation with Bruno. I really don't.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's going to be a fascinating few weeks at Newcastle United. A few incomings would certainly calm the waters up here a little bit, because as I sit here now, I've just been out and about in the streets of Newcastle. Someone stopped me in the street and said, "Have you heard the news? Bruno now is," that was the first I'd heard of it, and I've looked into it, and obviously with Gordon gone already, Tonali getting bids from various places and interest, and now Bruno. It's just a lot of work for the people at Newcastle United to do to hopefully put a smile back on Newcastle fans' faces and my own, for the sake of our transfer talk watchers and listeners. Anderson news, Sam, because look, we've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, but now it looks like they're finally there. Deal agreed, £116 million, a fixed fee, so guaranteed that City will pay that full 116 million. It's the most expensive British player ever, Elliot Anderson, goodness me, surpassing the 115 million that Real Madrid paid for Jude Bellingham. First of all, mate, you're always brilliant on the fees. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, so it looks a lot like Evangelos Marinakis, the Nottingham Forest owner and chairman, decided that he wanted a record. For him to part with such a player, he was going to have his name go down in the history books as well, which I think from what I know of Marinakis and what I've seen, yeah, that just about looks right. So if we take the fee, £116 million, it's £1 million more than Jude Bellingham could possibly cost if all of his add-ons are met, and it's about £10 million more than Declan Rice moved to Arsenal 3 seasons ago. So you think about how things have got more expensive in the world, not just football, but generally. Declan Rice, 105 million, add 3 years worth of inflation. Is that more or less where we've come to here? Is this effectively a Declan Rice deal 3 years later, just adding in for inflation? Probably. And you know what? Fair enough. If that's what you want to use as your benchmark, and we talk about all that all the time, don't we? We talk about how football uses benchmarks. Forest well within their rights there to say, take that Rice deal, add 3 years worth of inflation, and here we are. So look, I as you well know, it's very difficult for footballers to prove worth over £100 million. But if anyone's got a shot, it's Elliot Anderson, because he's fantastic.
Big fee to live up to. There's different pressure now. When he went to Nottingham Forest, relatively well, Newcastle United will feel like a very low fee now, for considering how quickly it's gone into this sort of huge transfer fee. A lot to live up to, but you think he's a player who can live up to a fee like that?
Look, I think he's superb. We've been talking about it all summer, as you say. I love the fact that he can do so many different things. So, you know, he was the most prolific ball winner in the Premier League last season. He also had the most touches on the ball of anyone. So you've got that in possession style, and you've got that out of possession kind of monstrous streak. So add that to the fact that he takes a really nice set piece, you know, a good corner and a nice free kick, and he can spot a really nice pass and clip one into the path of someone as well. He scored a screamer at the Etihad earlier this season. Bit low on the goals. I think he only got 3 last season, but he can strike from distance. There really isn't very much that Elliot Anderson cannot do. So again, if you're looking at who can we spend big on and who has the ability to live up to those expectations, it probably is a player that doesn't have noted faults or concerns. It probably is a player like this who can do a bit of everything. And you know, when you watch him play for England, you see him take a lot of the ball, a lot of touches, high volume passer, very, very accurate with his passes, but very progressive too. And when you watch him for Forest, often it's win the ball back, win the ball back, win the ball back, and just create that shield in front of the defence. So genuinely a player I think is brilliant because he can do it all. So yes, someone that is going to fall into that question, into that category of, if we're going to spend big, who should it be?
And does he make City better? Does he make them more balanced?
Better, yes. Balanced, I don't know. But let's say more solid. Let's say more solid. I mean, with him and Rodri in midfield together, you're going to have a tough time getting through that. And he's going to replace Bernardo Silva short term. I wonder maybe in the long term if this is the Rodri future-proofing. We're yet to see if they get another year out of Rodri. If they do, I'm sure that they'll play together. And beyond
Does that work?
Maybe.
Would that work?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, personally, I'd be delighted if I was the manager and I knew that my midfield was Rodri and Elliot Anderson, because, like, first of all, that screens the defensive line so incredibly well. It covers the holes that the fullbacks leave when they move forward. But also, because it's that platform and because it can pen teams in and win the ball back over and over again and keep teams penned in, it gives you so much dominance and the capacity to do so many things with the other front 4 players, because you know that you've got these two sat in the middle, protecting, screening, winning the ball back. You don't have to worry too much then about, like, how much defensive work is my winger going to get through? You know, can we protect lack of pressing from Doku or Haaland or whoever it might be? It opens up this world of possibilities when you've got 2 people in there that you just be like, yeah, I can trust you.
Incredible. I think that England's triangle now in the middle with Bellingham, Rice and Anderson of all cost north of £100 million. You've got over £300 million worth of midfield in the England midfield. I mean, it says a lot about the talent available for Thomas Tuchel. Also, I guess the coaching and development of players in general in this country.
Yeah. I mean, look, Pete. I mean, for as long as I've been watching football, England have had some pretty damn good midfielders. It's not that we haven't produced, right? From Gerrard, Lampard's goals, all this stuff all the way through. So for me, this is just more of the same. But what we are looking at here are three players who are much more tactically well-rounded, much more tactically pliable. They're all better defensively than the three I just mentioned, and that makes them, I don't know, it just feels a bit different, doesn't it? And they're all much easier to play together, thankfully.
Yeah, it's exciting times, I think, as far as England and English players coming through. It all sounds great, doesn't it? When you've got players who've come through academy systems in England and